Why do you believe what you believe? Because at some point in your life, you trusted the information that somebody was giving you. And that someone you trusted told you that a car was a car, a tree was a tree, a bird was a bird, the blue stuff above you is the sky. And that's the way that we began to determine what we believe to be a fact. Most of the things that we believe to be a fact in our lives are told to us through our stories or the news that we hear. So my question would be, if they were deceiving you with the stories they tell you, would you be able to
Hey B, how's it going, brother? How are ya?
Not bad, not bad. Got a little bit of a cold after dealing with all that snow removal and cold air and everything else
Yo,
all
so
yesterday and whatnot.
what was your accumulations up there in New Hampshire?
I think we got about the 8 inches they were talking about.
Really?
Yeah,
Really?
yeah. It was all, thankfully, thank the Lord, it was all that powdery, light, fluffy stuff.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Not the stuff you can make an instant snowball with. You know what I mean?
No, not at all. I mean, this
Yeah,
is the
the
stuff
heavy
you
stuff.
sneeze and it clears the
The
front lawn.
the widow makers, B. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah,
That's
yeah,
what
yeah,
they're
yeah.
called. The widow
Yeah.
makers.
Nope, not that.
So
Thank God for that. But I'll tell you, you know what happens is, even though it's nice, light and fluffy, whatever else, when the snow plows come through, because they pre-treat, they put out sand and salt. So when the snow plows come through, it's mixed with the sand and the salt, and now it starts to get heavier and it gets packed. And if you don't get it out of the front of your driveway quickly, it can become it could be very easily become a
a
widow
widow,
maker.
yeah, a widow maker. Yeah. I mean, because it's heavy.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? And
yeah,
you think by, because you're shoveling it, and you're picking up a nice compacted, and it's
right.
cleaning it up real good that, it can really kick your ass. Yeah. But, here it's, thank God it's just been playing with us here, B. I mean, it's not, uh, one day last week sometimes they're like, oh yeah, it's gonna snow, but it's gonna start at this time and then it's gonna be gone within about like 5 hours or so.
Have you seen what's happened down in Alabama and down in Pensacola, Florida, Houston, Texas?
Yeah, it's
All the
snowing.
snow, all the snow down there. I got pictures from a very dear friend of mine, lives down in Pensacola, down in the Florida Panhandle.
Yeah,
And one of
yeah,
the pictures, there's this beautiful palm tree, and it's just weighted down with all this snow on it.
right,
It's the craziest thing I've ever seen.
right. I was
Well,
out in
as far
Long
as palm
Beach.
trees is concerned, anyway.
When I was out in Long Beach, California, it snowed. You know what I mean? They got some
Really?
snow.
Wow.
Yeah, they got some snow. I mean, it's not something that's never happened before. You know
All
what I
right.
mean?
Yeah, but most of the
But
people, and they don't know how to drive in this.
no, no,
It
of
is
course not.
shut down Louisiana or down the French Quarter. It is
Right.
shut down Houston.
Like Louisiana needs any more fucking bullshit. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah,
It's
yeah,
it's
yeah.
it's nuts. It is. Um
And the
thanks
poor
for
people.
everybody who is tuning in right now, man. Hey, look, you could give B and me a call at 508-974-4231. We'll talk about anything. Pretty much we're gonna be on a topic of language. Language, body language analyst. I got a guy here that he's video's about 11 minutes, but worth watching. Something that we can get into a pretty good conversation over, I believe. Um, and a couple of other things to go over. I mean, Buddy Holly's brother reveals the dark truth of, like, what happened to his brother on in a crash, you know because that was one of the big great big icons, B. I mean,
I understand it, but I mean, okay, plane crash. We kind of have a good idea about what that looks like, and it ain't pretty. What's to reveal?
well, whether it was done on purpose to them.
Deliberately, you think that they think that they crashed a plane with all
Well,
of these artists on it deliberately?
we're gonna have to wait and see. I mean, what his brother has to say. Be right here on the way we see it with Blaze Man and Mr. B, buddy.
All
You
right.
understand, pal? Think it's newsworthy, B? I
Well,
mean,
okay, fine, but I'd never given a thought to it being something that might have happened deliberately.
oh, okay. Me either. And I'm glad we agree on that. So it'll be something. I don't know, cool to watch.
I just figured it was just a terrible tragedy thing that happened.
Yeah. You
Sometimes
know,
things happen.
I got AB, the GoFundMe is still up for Hope, right? So you guys could catch up on
I
some
have
bills.
not received any further donations through that in some time, and
B,
I really I don't want to push it and push it and push it and
B, can you hear me?
what?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. Now, did you say I didn't hear what you said in the very beginning, buddy?
It is still up.
Oh,
I
okay.
have
All right.
not
So what
I
is up
have not pushed it and pushed it and pushed it, and we have not received any donations from that
at all?
in a number of days now.
Oh,
Uh,
wow.
I have received a number of donations. I'm very very thankful for it. We have not raised anywhere near the goal,
Of
but
course.
we are very very thankful to all of the people who have. And there are some people we understand completely. Believe me, we understand people who just are not of the means to be able to make a donation. They offer prayer and they offer support and so forth, and we're still very very thankful for it. Hope Hound is indeed on the upswing, and she's doing much better, but she is not out of the woods. And there clearly still is something that is wrong. We don't know what, and we have not been able to afford to get her in and hospitalized and the tests that need to be done to find out what the heck is going on.
Right.
We're over $6,000 into this thing now.
Right. Right. I know. I've been there. Dog surgeries, the whole 9 yards. I've been there. It's tough. But again, we wish Hope all the best. We're glad that she seems to be feeling a little bit better, and let's just hope that that is the course that Hope continues to trail on.
Yeah, thank you very much. It's very kind of you to regard her, and thank you very much. And by the way, we got Agnes, the angry chicken mug that has cocoa and nothing else inside.
Just the cocoa, huh? Who do I got here? Let's see. Ryan says, "Pets turn a house into a home." You know what I mean? It's just weird that
Yeah.
we're talking about hope and stuff, and my wife and I, we absolutely love animals. Listen, I'm not gonna have a snake in my house, but well, but understand what I'm saying. I mean, if I see a snake random, I will avoid the snake at all costs. I'm not gonna go and throw a fucking rock at the snake, shit like that, because I love animals. I think that I mean, shit. I don't know. I mean, all I know as a human being, I mean, it would suck for all of a sudden somebody just smash me in a fucking head with a rock and my life is over.
Yeah.
That's the way I look at it. And in the other hand, if I'm defending myself, then that's a different story. But we do have, again, a body language analyst coming up. Okay. I guess he's going to go over. This was Trump's inauguration and I think the funeral that they were all at. I mean, there was some talk on the table out there in the media about Obama, laughing at something that Trump said. not just this guy, but I also watched and a few other body language analysts, and was saying that you know uh, to be engaged with somebody, like at one point you have Trump and then you have Obama. Now, um, Obama was doing more of the engaging with President Donald Trump. In other words, Obama was, leaning in to talk to Trump, you know. And the analyst explains it, and look, trust me, man, the CIA and all these people, they have people that do this. They have people that read lips, B. You
Of
know what I
course.
mean? For
Yes.
situations like this,
Yeah.
So, I mean, why are these analysts now goofballs? Because they're just trying to let people know and how body language and works and shit. It
Yeah.
give you it give you a better insight. B. I mean, you're doing this right, and along with me and the viewers, we're like, all right, what is on B's mind? I mean, he's throwing his hands around. He's what is it, B?
Anybody can read body language if they're smart enough to look.
Oh, come on, B. These people have PhDs in doing this stuff.
I'm sure that their
You
mothers
know,
and fathers are very happy for them and very proud of them. But
I
still,
don't know,
it
B.
doesn't mean that just because they read the books doesn't mean that they know what to do with the information that was inside them.
All right,
Trust me,
maybe,
believe me. I've
maybe,
met a great number of people that
maybe
are
one
very
person.
highly educated and incredibly fucking stupid.
Most highly educated people are, B. Okay? Most highly educated people, fucking smart people, they're like, I know a few smart people. And to talk to them about everyday bullshit that me and you talk about, and, and how you could fucking fall on some ice on a sidewalk, and they don't even understand that, because they're fixated on what the task is at hand. You know what I mean? But again, let our viewers decide, and we're gonna
Of
whip this,
course.
bad puppy up there, and we're gonna see what this hidden emotion at Trump's inauguration revealed by body language analysts, buddy. Let's check it out. My mama told me you better shop around.
Hey everybody, Dr. G here. I'm a clinical and forensic psychologist as well as a body language expert, and today we're going to be analyzing the behavior and body language observed at the 2025.
See, there you go again, B. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, B. If your eyes might get stuck up on the top of your forehead, B. What is your problem with the analyst?
I just hear
You don't believe in analysts, B?
Oh, I believe in them. Yeah, believe me. Yeah.
I don't know, B.
Go on, roll this thing.
I
Don't
mean,
worry about my
it's
eyes.
not like a B. That's part of the show, bro. You know what I mean? Come on now.
Well,
What is it? What is it? Is it like you think that they're like fucking card reading people and shit? I
you know
don't
how they
know.
say take things with a grain of salt? I can't afford enough salt to take people like this. You know, I should just go ahead.
B,
Roll the video.
B, but they have experts, B.
Yeah, I
There's
hear they do.
experts in that,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
can't see the CIA, having people like this if it's all rolling your eyes and all of that stuff like that, B. I don't know, bro. I say that, these people are highly trained, highly qualified, but if this is again, that's one of the other reasons that's the problem with media. And even though 'cause some people could watch us and be laughable about it, right? But I think we do a fair job on getting
I
shit out, right?
you ever
Listen,
see
listen.
have you ever seen that movie, the Shawshank Redemption?
Absolutely.
You know when Morgan and Freeman's talking, the thing is rehabilitated. I really don't know what that word means. I know what you think that it means. It's the thing where they have sort of a young fellow like yourself who wear a suit and a tie and have a job, blah blah blah. The same thing with these people. I please roll the video. I'm not going to be able to change my spots on this. on this.
Oh, B, we're not trying to get you to change anything. I just thought that the viewers, along again with myself, want to know why you're, So B thinks that, correct me if I'm wrong, B thinks like, that these people that read body language, more like gypsy voodoo, card palm reading, future telling type, folks.
Some of them, yeah.
Okay, so we're agreement on that. And if anybody else wants to comment on it or give us a call at 508-974-4231, right here on the FFN network, you are watching the way we see it. Okay, it is the 21st of January here in the United States. So without further ado, I'm going to play it. B, you ready? This guy seems
sure.
he knows his stuff.
Here, tell you what. Here, go ahead. Go ahead. Man.
All right, here we go.
Worry.
Yeah. See no evil, speak no evil, have no fun.
5 presidential inauguration of Donald J. Trump. Before we get started with this, a couple of quick things. One, I wanted to make sure you know none of this is a psychological evaluation of any kind. These are just my opinions. In addition to that, I do want to remind you to like and subscribe if you want to see more content just like this. All right, let's go. So what we're going to be doing today is watching various people associated with the inauguration and seeing if there's any body language that stands out. All right, let's just jump right in.
Hillary's body language says a lot.
Now, something I think is interesting is the pace that they're walking. Because if you look, Hillary Clinton is keeping pace ahead of Bill Clinton. Watch this right here. Now, there's a couple of ways to interpret that. You could interpret it as that she wants to be the one that's sort of seen as leading right here, but also that they're not connected in the sense that they're not walking at the same rhythm next to each other. It's next to each other in a sense, but she's really walking ahead. I think that's very interesting. Now, see, this is very different body language that we're seeing from former President George Bush and his wife, Laura. They're actually holding hands, a sign of affection, showing that they are connected right now. So it's very interesting to look at the difference between Bill and Hillary Clinton versus George and Laura Bush.
I know what you're saying, B. It's obvious, right? You know what I mean? Here's some more, ladies and gentlemen.
Now, something's very interesting about the way that Barron Trump walks right here. I want to show you this. Barron Trump is a remarkably tall individual. So it's interesting that he walks with his head leaning forward a little bit because it shows that he's not trying to look as tall as humanly possible. He seems, if anything, to be trying to normalize his height a little bit with everybody in front of him. So I just think it's interesting because sometimes there are people that are quite tall that'll stand with their heads in the air, that'll want to look as tall as possible. That doesn't seem to be the case with Barron Trump.
The Honorable William J. Clinton, accompanied by the Honorable Hillary Rodham Clinton.
They go back to that same way of walking. Hillary walks a little bit ahead, and they have essentially no actual contact or interaction. They don't look at each other. They don't touch. It's very interesting. And I'm not trying to imply anything by that other than the fact that the way that they connect is clearly very different than a lot of the couples that we're seeing.
There's a good reason for it.
So as you can see, Bill Clinton scooting by Hillary, there's just not the type of connection that you oftentimes expect to see for people that have been together so long. Like I said, nothing wrong with that.
Anybody
it's
who's
just what it
seen
is, but I think
Chelsea
it's an
knows
interesting
why.
observation.
B.
The Honorable George W. Bush, accompanied by Mrs.
Oh,
Laura
this
Bush.
guy doesn't even know he's got a bad echo, huh? Dude's like,
How you doing,
echoing.
Annie? Good to see you. Welcome in.
Hey, what's happening, Ann? Great to see you. Yeah, this one B, I am gonna give it an F. I think I only watched a few minutes of it, so it looked all right. But what I want to do is get the guy that I had up here originally, and I lost him. So, but anyways, so
Hate when that happens.
B, you got anything coming up for Wednesday's show, Big?
For Wednesday's show, I have been trying to, but unfortunately, I haven't been able to get things to come together. I'm juggling
Well,
one too
yeah,
many
you
things.
had a lot going on, yeah.
We've got an awful lot going on.
Mhm.
But I think one of the things. Okay.
What the hell?
Pardon me.
Go
I
ahead,
think one of
Big.
the things that we want to be discussing now is, you knew that there was going to be backlash when President Trump came out with all of these executive orders that he
The
signed and so
pardons.
forth.
Yep, the
And,
pardons for the January 6th.
no,
Yep.
not the pardons, but all the other executive orders. There were some 200 executive orders, actions that he had signed, uh, including things about pardons and so forth, but plenty of other things as well. And of course, the left wing, of course, is just already starting to flood the court with lawsuits and lawsuits over this, lawsuits over that. Not the least of which is suing about this thing about the canceling the birthright for people who are illegal aliens that come here and they have a child here and the child is instantly an American citizen, so he's canceling that out. And they're saying, oh, it's against the 14th Amendment to the Constitution. And
Well, yeah. I mean, yeah. So, all right. So what's the argument? Are you hearing that Trump saying "fuck them"? We're just going to get rid of them. I
well,
think he would honor that. So because you're going to hear all kinds of bullshit. Number one, you're going to hear about the fucking cages or cages again or whatever the fuck. Everybody seems to forget that Obama started that kind of bullshit.
yeah,
All right. Yeah, you're going to get that. But he closed the border, right? Fucking border's closed.
yeah, and of course, I don't know if you heard or not, but up here, way up north, actually in the neighboring Vermont, there was a Customs and Border Patrol incident up there where one Customs and Border Patrol officer was killed. And one of the criminals or suspected criminals, whatever you want to call it, was killed. And the other injured in the takedown, apparently up on the just over in the area of the Vermont border.
Wow.
It happened yesterday.
Wow. Well, you know what? I'll tell you what. While we're taking this quick break, we'll see if we can't find something on that. But when we come back, we are going to have what really happened, and we'll talk about it when we get back right here on The Way We See It on the FFN network. I am your host, Blazeman, along with my buddy, my
Jimmy
pal.
Crackcorn, because I don't care.
Yep, because he don't care. My boy B, and we'll be right back, ladies and gentlemen, about 3 minutes or so.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's what we are. Welcome back. This is the way we see it. Trump is in on FFN Network. There's Blazeman. Hey, how you doing? Welcome back, my friend.
What's going on, buddy? Got a little bit of
Not
moon.
too much. We got some music playing in the background. What's going on?
Yeah, we got a little bit of that Moon Zappa and
goody.
Frank Zappa's son there.
Dweezil, Moon Unit and Dweezil. What really happened? Let's hear this.
Well, yeah, that's the title. So this video it's like 15 minutes long. We're not going to go through 15 minutes. No. So I watched most of it today, and I broke it down a little bit. So I know where to go and all that stuff like that to make things a little bit quicker and to talk about more, right? I put this one on B because I figured that you would enjoy this one better. I don't know why, but I thought you would. All right, let's listen in, babe. Wow, I can see my wife.
Wow.
Sorry, bud. I can see my wife over there. That's why.
This be your wife.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the Behavioral Arts. My name is Spidey, and I use my degree in sociology and psychology, my certifications in criminal interrogation and body language analysis, and over 10 years' experience as an award-winning mentalist to teach people behavioral analysis and practical psychology on stages and television shows all over the world. All 5 living US presidents were in attendance just last week at President Jimmy Carter's funeral at Washington National Cathedral. Each of them walked in one at a time, often accompanied by their spouse, greeted those seated around them, and then took their seats. But news and social media headlines all over the world are talking about the really interesting nonverbal communication that we saw and the different vibes that some of these individuals had amongst themselves. In this video, a special guest and I are going to look at the facial expressions, the body language, and the overall nonverbal communication of all these presidents and vice presidents.
Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, like I had said, I'm going to shift right through the video. Okay, everyone's going to get the whole idea of what we're talking about. And this guy has a guest on his show. And, the title of it is, so most of you might be watching on your cell phone. So that title is going to be pretty small. So it says, what really happened with Obama, Trump, and Harris? Body language analysts react. Okay.
Hi, Jesse.
So again, that's my explanation.
All in one place at the same time. And it's really interesting because sometimes it's not the person who the spotlight is on who's giving the most
away. So I'm going to switch it to where his buddy comes in, okay?
I only watched half of this video. And
you don't have to answer.
Is it ever? It is an all-you-can-eat buffet, and it's great.
Super stoked. Let's go.
And I think that's really important, across the board for all of these presidents, no matter what party they're from, to send a signal to the country that in these moments we can and must. Look at this moment here. Former Vice President Mike Pence shaking the hand of the president-elect and the First Lady, Melania Trump, obviously shaking hands with Al Gore, but the particular note there, the interaction with Mike Pence.
Okay, so really quick, before we get started on this, you texted me something earlier, then we got on a FaceTime call. You mentioned something that I think needs to be said here, because I've seen other experts make this mistake before when you know that there's something going on before the camera starts rolling. Can you go into that really? People need to know this.
Yeah, so really quick, when I first saw this and I saw a lot of people breaking it down, my reflex was to say, hold on a minute, we don't know for a fact that this is the first time everyone that we're about to see is meeting that day. So, where you would expect a warm greeting and you don't get one, or you get a warm greeting with someone else, you might go.
So this is what, attracted me to watch this guy more, because he makes 100% accuracy in the fact that just because you don't see them shaking hands or saying, "Hey, what's up?" when the cameras are on them, what he's letting everyone know now is that a lot of them met in another room before they actually went out there. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
there might be a chance where, hey, he didn't say hi to him for like all these analysts on MSNBC and everybody, oh yeah, look at him, he snubbed them. You know what I mean? You could tell there's pure hatred there. You know what I'm saying? All right, let's listen more.
Go, wait a second, why is that different? We have to consider that before this happened, they may have bumped into each other in the hall. They may have been, Trump is going to talk about in an interview that we're going to look at in a bit, how before this, they were in a separate room where some of them were there. Let's just keep that in mind. But then on top of that, you have to add the context that they also know that this is the first time they're all greeting each other on camera. So what you're seeing may not be a genuine first meeting of the day, but it is the first time that they're greeting this person in front of millions of people. So we often talk about politics being a theater, and this is what they want the world to know they're okay with in their behaviors. So with all that in mind, with all this context in mind, Chase, take it away. What are we seeing here?
So let's first talk about Marilyn, who is Dan Quayle's wife. She is on the left side here. And right as Trump is approaching, you see this massive smile right across her face. But right as Trump's body passes by her face and he's no longer making any eye contact with her, it disappears off the face. And that's one of the biggest things to learn in body language, is that real facial expressions fade off of the face. Social gestures just vanish. They drop off. And you can see this instantaneous drop of that smile expression there. Keep in mind that Marilyn is an attorney, so she's been in this field for a very long time. I know that she still does fundraisers and stuff like this for charity, so she's very much on stage. So this is a social behavior for sure. So next, Trump is being Trump. He's walking around shaking people's hands as much as he can. Al Gore stands up, does the handshake, and immediately back to kind of cover this midsection. Then he shakes Mike Pence's hand. Mike Pence and Trump have a very contentious relationship. Pence's hand kind of stays up here. It's not up this high, but it stays kind of here, grabbing his jacket. And what I think is going on here, both of them, all of them, are very well trained in statecraft and manners and etiquette. And the etiquette, especially at a formal event like a funeral or something like that, is standing up, I button my jacket. It's almost like an instinctive thing. When I sit down, that top button comes unbuttoned. I think that was them kind of pulling that together, just knowing that they're standing up for a very brief moment in time there. And then we have Melania. This is what I think is most interesting, just in terms of behavior. It's not some giant political expose. She's almost expressionless as she walks in. She's walking around, not making a lot of eye contact, kind of looking down at a couple of people. No, not even movement in her arms. Her arms aren't swinging or moving or anything like that. But she starts getting expressive the moment that she can turn around and see where Trump's attention is pointed. So the moment she can see where Trump is paying attention, she averts straight to where he's looking. That's a big deal because it shows that she's doing what she always does. She uses Trump as a cue card for attention. Trump directs her attention, and she's kind of going off of him for cues. When she had her back to Trump, she was stoic and unresponsive to everyone. But the moment she could turn around and see what he was doing, she became just as engaged as he was in the person that he was talking to.
That is beautifully said. And another thing we have to keep in mind is some of the awkwardness that we see might not be because of the relationships, because this is still a funeral. You know, you're not going to walk into a funeral of
conversation that they feel is really important and engaging. And that's just where their attention is.
I was also very surprised by the reception overall of the Clintons. With each one coming in, I was like, okay, trying to foresee what's going to happen. It was a very warm reception. A lot of people stood up. That whole back row stood up. George Bush stood up. There was a lot of warm greetings. A lot. I don't know. It was nice. There was a lot of enthusiasm going around when they showed up. So that was interesting to see that. One last thing I really quickly want to talk about, and this goes back to my awareness of
Trump
crowds,
and Obama
when I'm on
still
stage
talking
performing,
away.
I'm kind of making little notes and seeing little things that I can later use in my readings. And there's an interaction between George and Laura Bush that's really fascinating. And it's basically, I would bet quite a bit of money that they see someone in the distance that he knows who they are, and they say hi, and she's not quite sure. She asks him something, and it looks like she might be saying, "Who are they?" That's what it looks like she might be saying. And he leans over and he answers a name, a contact, something. And then she smiles and she goes, "Okay, yeah, that's who they are." He places it for her. It's a very classic interaction I see in crowds as they're pouring in. Sometimes I'm peeking out trying to get an idea of what's going on. People, one person greets and they kind of lean in and go, and the other goes like this. Super classic.
The Roberts.
I think that's what I saw too. The Roberts.
Roberts. Yeah.
Oh, goody.
That's their technical difficulty, not Osby. Hey, B, can I analyze that?
Go right ahead.
Hey, B, nobody can stand them. How about, what do you say?
That's just the tip of the iceberg. They can't stand each other.
Wife and husband?
They can't stand each other. He
Oh.
is an impertinence and embarrassment to her.
Okay, all right. So go ahead.
No,
We're listening.
She was vice president, and he is nothing but a wishy-washy. What is he? A school teacher or a lawyer or something? Whatever the hell he is, he's an afterthought. She still thinks that she's aloof and lofty and whatever, and
Well,
she's too stupid to know that she's been crushed back into the ground.
Well, I can pretty much guarantee, B, okay, that she's making more money than he is now. Okay,
Of course,
they all do.
I want to see her on the lecture circuit.
Say again?
I want to see her on a lecture circuit.
Well, look, I don't think she's going to be on any lecture circuits, and any college that hires her to do so is just.
Don't we all love the yellow school bus?
So, but again, I just find this stuff like super fascinating, and if anybody else does and wants to talk to me and be about it, or talk about what you see, give us a call here at 508-974-4231. We'd like to hear from any of you, man. Some nights we got a good crowd tonight, and we're on 15.
Oh, come on, pick up the phone.
And we're live on TikTok as well, B.
TikTok is still alive.
Oh yeah, TikTok. Yeah, I mean TikTok shut down for about 5 hours. That's it. 5 hours.
Whatever.
I could be wrong, maybe 6 or 7 hours, but yeah, they closed down. Anyways, all right, let's listen to more, man. Like I said, this shit's fascinating to me. And I hope all of yous. All right, let's get back to where they walk in and nobody gives a shit. All right, here we go.
Roberts. Yeah.
Thank you, Jesse.
Again, ladies and gentlemen, the audio situation is on that video, not us.
So this is a big moment. This is where the current vice president, Kamala Harris, walks in. And I'll concede that we're getting closer to the start time. So that might a little bit explain some variance in behavior. But Chase, in a moment, you'll talk about the difference in atmosphere. One thing I do want to talk about, however, is besides being the vice president, this is also someone who very recently ran for president and lost to someone else who's sitting in that room. So very often when something like that happens, we're a little more sensitive to, like, we want to wait to see how the person's going to engage us to engage them back. And we see that both with Donald Trump and Barack Obama. As she comes to her seat, they're both looking up at her, waiting to see a cue. What is she going to do? Is she going to greet me? Is she going to say hi to me? They're ready to respond, probably to try to match whatever she's going to do, but she turns around and she sits down. But Chase, why don't you talk a little bit about the mood, the atmosphere, and some of the behaviors we're seeing?
Yeah, this is cool. Listen to this dude.
One of the first thing that I teach in every one of my courses is pay attention to attention. If you look at the juxtaposition between when Bill and Hillary walked in versus this couple, it is a wild difference. It was all attention, almost, except for the bromance that was going on down there. And then when this happened, there's no attention. It's almost an attempt to make a little bit of eye contact and look away as fast as possible to check, like, how am I supposed to respond to this? What am I supposed to do? And everyone's sitting down. They get the opposite reception. Then they take their seats. You can visibly see that there's almost hyperventilating going on in Kamala and her husband, where you can see the chest going up and out. And the location of our breathing and the speed of our breathing are both important. They're both stress indicators. We breathe more up into our chest when we're stressed out. We breathe down into our abdomen when we're relaxed. So you see the breathing shift up into the chest, and it increases in speed. This is extremely high stress that we're seeing in a person trying to lock it down. But Spidey, before I talk about Kamala's husband, I would love for you to talk about her. There's a specific thing in here that happens. I would really love your input on.
Yeah, it's really a beautiful moment of body language, and it's something we've all been in. It's a situation we've all been in before, and we've all felt very embarrassed in that moment. So I completely relate to this. To understand this moment, we also have to understand context a little bit more. A lot of the people who are sitting around her are part of a...
This might be where, you know, according to these cats, whether she, like, still wants to keep the hubby around. All right, B?
Let's hear it.
A very exclusive club. Presidents. They've all been presidents. And she is a current vice president, which is awesome, but she's not exactly part of that club. So she's kind of waiting to see, am I accepted into this club?
No,
will they
she
accept
wasn't.
me as one of their own? So as aware as they are of her and trying to respond, she's also aware of them and trying to respond, which is why we see when she sits down, the moment Barack Obama opens his mouth, she enthusiastically turns around because she figures he's going to say something to me. She hears his voice and immediately goes, oh, good, someone's going to talk to me. She turns to him. But what does she see when she turns to him? He's not talking to her. He's talking to Donald Trump, who for her is, you know,
slap in the face.
Still, she's still kind of in the middle of that. So
right, B?
She immediately
slap
notices
in the face,
that. And
right?
what happens? She quickly turns back, and we see the
deserve it.
lips, the corners of the lips pull back in this kind of way. Now, this is very consistent. We see this with fear. When we're fearful of something, the lips pull back. We also see it with cringe or with tension in the lips. Nothing very positive. And we've all been in this moment before. You know, where you think someone's waving at you and you wave back, turns out they're waving to someone behind you. And if you could just in that moment dig a hole and just live in there for about a month, you're willing to do that. I've been in situations like this as well, where you're in public, you're waiting, someone says something, you think they're going to talk to you, but they're talking to someone else. I've felt that embarrassment before. So she turns back and now all of a sudden takes enormous interest in that thing they've been given, that book, that memoir, that tribute. I don't know what it is, but she takes enormous interest in this, which is exactly what I would do as well. Another thing I want everyone to think about is not just behavior for oneself, but expectation. Once again, Kamala is still very much in the middle of this. The election was very recent, and she knows that she has a lot of supporters who have a lot of issues with Donald Trump, and she knows that they're all watching this right now. So her behaviors can be partially because of the way she feels, but also to manage expectation from what people expect of her. Obama's been kind of out of this for a little while. You know, it's been a while. Yes, they had a lot of rivalry, Trump and him, but right now
Obama's still
it's
got some
you
power.
know, it's Barack Obama and Donald Trump, whereas for it's a little more recent. And she kind of has to manage what a lot of people expect of her, not just her own, you know, wants and desires and connections. So there's a lot going on at play here. And that moment, I felt for her in that moment, because if it was me, I just can I just live here in this hole for a while away from society?
Ball up.
I think
Yep.
this is a great point to bring in the difference
I
between
agree.
a wound and a scar. So a lot of those people.
So what do you think, B? I mean, not bad, right?
It's not bad at all, that, but it means nothing about nothing now. It has nothing to do with what's going on in present day.
Sure it does, B.
At this point.
Sure it does. I mean, right there, just what I watched right there, but like her career in Washington's done. Unless she did what she did to get from, you know, all the media that was out there, you know, take it the way you want, you know, she kind of like worked her way up to where she was back there at that point. What makes you think she might not try something like that again?
The problem is, yeah,
Because she's done,
you said the
B.
thing. She's that she's done in Washington. She's too stupid to know that, and that's the dangerous thing. That is the dangerous thing.
Well,
It
that's
all runs
just
together.
it,
It's
B.
playing out the way we
That's
voted.
just
Thank
it.
you, Jesse.
You know, look, I'll tell you right now, look, it's the family member that tried to do something to help out the rest of the family, didn't get it done. Now the rest of the family's like, you fucked up. We don't want nothing to do with you. That's their look right now. They're like, they know the family's fucking pissed. Is anybody going to talk to us? Is anybody going to say anything? The guy hit it right on the nose. Soon as Obama opened up his mouth, she spun around like he was talking to her. You know what I mean? Oh, all they had to do was lean in, and they would have shook their hands. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So let's hear some more.
He's very trying to be as still as he possibly can, stoic and still, and you can see the rigidity increase, that the muscle difference, the difference in muscle tone, not body build, but muscle tone, the relaxation of muscle tissue between him.
Do you think he can hear what Trump is saying to Obama? Because this guy, her husband, he looks like he's all frigid. You know what I mean? He's like, he looks like a nervous wreck.
And Trump and Obama having a conversation back there behind. This withheld opinions, kind of locked down mouth, and sitting there just holding himself in this just as still and rigid as possible. That is very telling of high stress, a potential for fear. And why does that indicate fear? When we tighten our muscles, we make our bodies harder to bite from predators thousands of years ago. So we make our bodies a harder target, so that we see a lot of increased rigidity in people who are experiencing fear and stress. And we're seeing a ton of that right here.
Now, remember what this guy said earlier, B. You know what I mean? Remember, he was like, you know, these people have met one another in another room, you know, earlier before they came out. Remember?
Right.
Okay, so, I mean, because come on, I mean, Kamala and her husband, they're not going to shake the Biden's hand. You know what I mean? You know, unless they really can't fucking stand her. You know what I mean?
Oh, look, we get to watch Sleepy Joe snooze. I think he was trying to
Oh,
listen to Trump and
man.
Obama.
Look at Annie. Look at I
Annie,
think
Jesse,
he
I
was
love
trying. Yeah, I think he was trying to listen to Trump and Obama.
you.
Yeah, he was. Doing that little snoop. Yeah. Let's listen to some more.
You can see that Joe is daydreaming of strawberry and ice cream.
He's daydreaming of something. I mean, look at him. He's like so stiff when he walks, man. It's insane. Let me grab that again. Look at this. And she practically throws his hand away.
Yeah.
It's not entirely true. It kind of just let it go. That shows like, where the fuck am I right now?
Is this my funeral? Oh,
Yeah.
Did I change
Yeah.
my Depends this morning?
Yeah, that's it, bro.
Oh.
Okay, this one's really quick for me. Again, I guess because when the president walks in, it's assumed that, okay, things are about to get started, so maybe we're staying in our seats a little bit more. But even with that, if I look at the interactions as they sit.
Attention to anybody that's there in the crowd. There's no waves, no eye contact, no significant movements, and there's no attention coming back at them. Or so it seems.
Jesse.
So that's a different clip I found from a separate source where we see a little bit of what happened after the service. And I think there's some value here. And forget expertise in behavioral analysis. Forget Chase's experience, my experience, purely intuitively.
Exactly.
As you look at this, who do you think Obama was having a more pleasant interaction with? Would it have been with Donald Trump or with Kamala Harris? I'll leave that open-ended. Just compare the behaviors and you could see.
What do you think she was saying to Obama right there?
She's doing something to try and curry his favor.
Right?
Yeah. And
Right?
he's like, yeah,
You
sure,
think it's
fine,
like,
whatever.
you think it's like, did I do something wrong? You know, because you didn't, you know what I mean? Did I do something wrong? In the meantime, she's shaking, you know, and Obama's like, look, bitch, you know what I mean? Just get back over in your chair,
And Jill Biden and Jill Biden wants nothing to do with her, and Joe Biden is just he's in his fog.
Yeah, he's gonna fucking clue. And the other good thing too is who's missing. Does anybody know who's missing in all of this?
What's her name's wife?
Anybody know who's missing? Somebody very important is missing.
Let's hear it. Just say it.
Well,
We're running out of time.
I'm waiting to see if some of our viewers know it. You gotta wait because they get a 4-second delay easy. So, and yeah. So if anybody knows, just shoot us over.
Michelle, yeah.
There you go. There you go.
Thank you, Jesse. Jesse.
Jesse, get some boat.
Hey, good girl.
So that's a different clip I found from a separate source where we see a little bit of what happened after the service. And I think there's some value here. And forget expertise in behavioral analysis. Forget Chase's experience, my open-ended. Just compare the behaviors and you could see. It's nice though that Kamala had a chance here to get up, and we see her greeting George Bush. She's talking to Obama a bit, so there's a bit of that interaction. We're seeing it. But if we notice a little bit of the energy around it, there's stuff to notice. Like when she's talking
She's
to
happy now. So favors
George
were
Bush,
exchanged,
Barack
right?
Obama is looking at her with a very
Okay.
tight-lipped
Big-
smile, and he's kind of waiting, I think, to see, okay, is something going to happen here? I'm waiting for my cue. When she's talking to Barack Obama, we see the same thing from Donald Trump, who just got finished talking to her husband. He's looking at her. He throws these glances at her to see, okay, does she
Gangbang.
want some kind of acknowledgement, some kind of hello? He's waiting for her cue to see what she wants to do.
Oh,
here.
boy.
Chase, what else are
I'm
we seeing here?
terrible. I am
Let's
terrible.
pay attention to
B.
attention. If you see
I'm
President
sorry,
Obama
we were all
address
thinking it.
Vice President Harris, you're going to see a lot of looking this way, looking that way while he's speaking. There's not, I don't see any eye contact in this. There's a lot of, I'm going to look this direction. I'm looking over here. I'm looking everywhere else. The tight-lipped expressions are still there. All of that, it points to a higher stress and a desire to end the conversation a lot faster to me.
Yep.
And we can't really
said
assume
what she-
what that's about.
she
We don't know what
just
they're talking
wanted
about.
the
Maybe there was
camera time
something
with
really
Obama,
serious, like
and
that
he
that they
knows
were
it.
discussing.
You know what I
We
mean?
don't know what it is.
So-
We can't hear what the
So the
conversation
next
is. and
talk show, she
context
goes on,
matters.
she go, oh,
it's
yeah,
one of your
well,
5 C's, so context is huge. So we can't just assume that
He wants
it reflects
everybody
the
to
relationship.
think that
But yes,
she's an equal.
looking at the nonverbal communication, it certainly seems that the conversation with Donald Trump was more casual, relaxed, pleasant, and there's some kind of tension here about something.
Yeah, totally agree.
We're going to end this by looking at a very special clip. It's a short clip of Donald Trump talking to Forbes about the conversation that he had with Obama and what was going on. Take a look.
Off the top, you mentioned the Carter funeral today. What were you talking to Barack Obama about?
It did look very friendly, I must say.
I thought you guys hated each other.
I didn't realize it, how friendly it looked. I saw it on your wonderful network just a little while ago before I came in, and I said, boy, they look like two people that like each other. And we probably do. We have little different philosophies, right? But we probably do. I don't know, we just got along. But I got along with just about everybody on that. We met backstage, as you know, before we
See?
went on.
Just
And
confirmed
I thought it
it.
was a beautiful service, but we all got along very well, which is good.
Okay, so Chase, I think we could do a separate analysis of just that one answer. That would be about 3 hours long. Instead of that, let's just, what's that?
Easily.
Yeah. Instead of doing that, let's just each pick one thing about this that stood out the most to us. So go ahead.
So in my training, this is called a non-answer statement. A person asks a question and the answer that a person gives does not provide some substantive answer to what the person was asking about.
What
That's
were
the
you
whole
talking to
Obama
Barack
administration.
Obama about?
It did look very friendly, I must say.
So this was definitely not an answer. There's a couple other things here. Spidey, let's get you to go into this and then I'll bounce off of whatever you say.
Yeah, so the thing I wanted to focus on, absolutely agree with the non-answer. It's one of the things we learn in interrogation, behavioral analysis. So completely agree, and I'm glad that was the one you focused on. But the thing I want to focus on has some different words in the industry. You call them exclusions, but in the CIA.
So right as Peter asked this question, Trump has this response of kind of a pulling the lips back. And for your subscribers especially, we may have mentioned this before, and that's kind of almost a fear response for the lips to draw back horizontally. But this right here, when we get to changes, that's the first C on the 5 C's. This is not a change from his behavioral baseline. So this is a very normal response to somebody asking him a question. And we definitely are seeing that here.
Yeah, completely agreed. It's something we often see with him, this kind of before he answers, and we sometimes even hear a bit of an inhale like this before he speaks. So yeah, absolutely baseline. So beautifully said. Okay, one last thing. I know we said we're gonna just pick one thing each, but it's juicy. He refers to the area, the holding area before they came out, as backstage.
We met backstage, as you know, before we went on.
And I mean, these are things that we pick up on when someone's speaking. So it's interesting that he said that because, that's something I would say. I've spent a lifetime performing on stage. That's something I would say. I would refer to almost any holding area as backstage because my life has been performance. So I think we're getting a little bit of that voice of experience here. You know, somebody who's spent a life on TV shows and stages, so backstage. But I also think it's a bit of it lends a little bit to context here of what we're getting because, I often say politics is a performance. So, I think it's a bit of both of those things. What do you think?
Definitely think so. This is him going off of he's probably been on stage since both of us were born. He's been going into green rooms, and he was I think he was on Larry King.
Oh, look, we have a comment in from I don't know where.
We don't know where. I don't know. What does this say, buddy?
A convicted felon president pardoning the leader of the Proud Boys and every person who overtook and desecrated our nation's capital is every Republican voter's dream come true. Yeah, well, let's just overlook everything that happened for 4 years in the Biden administration. All the peaceful protests and all the jewelry stores and other merchants and pharmacies that were all robbed for peaceful protests and reasons of whatever else. Yeah, let's just throw that all aside. Okay, whoever you are, please
go
back to
all right, B. All right, B. They're a guest in the show, B. You can't attack everybody you don't agree with. But what I'd like to say is could you, besides the top 3 convictions that they gave him and that was sought out all over the media, can you please name me 5 other convictions? Because there were 32 of them, right? So you probably only know 3 of them. You know what I mean? And you probably have no idea what the rest of them were. I'll give you some time to look it up on Google. But also, thank you for joining into the show. B, why don't you tell everybody what you got going on Wednesday? If you're just going to throw some knowledge out, what's happening, buddy? Politicking with Mr. B, Wednesday night here on the FFN network. Go ahead, B.
What we look. Wow! I'm not even drinking. What we hope to be examining are some of the things that are going on with the liberals that are already starting to take and throw lawsuits all over the place over some of the executive orders that have been issued by President Trump. And let's see if we can delve into some of the claims and the things that he's doing are against the Constitution and so forth. And again, to me, right off the bat, what has happened is something that was completely expected, and they're going to do another 4 years of exactly what they did the last time President Trump was in the presidency. Is throwing little sticks and rocks and stones in the middle of the road, trying to do anything and everything to discredit and complain and moan and whine about nothing. And are these people going to wind up succeeding in slowing down the progress of our nation again?
With that being said, don't forget to check out Politicking with Mr. B Wednesday night right here on the FFN network, 7 p.m. till 8 p.m. Or it could be 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Ladies and gentlemen, you're going to have to just check it out. You're going to have to go on to FFN Radio Network Facebook page, FFN Radio Network on YouTube. Just type in on Google, right? FFN, right? And every place we're on, there'll be about 17, 18 of them. We're on them all. We're on every goddamn platform.
If you've got an idea for a program, why don't you get a hold of us here at FFN
right there
and talk about it? And you can have your own podcast, schedule time,
and we'll run it for you, baby. Go to FFN Network 9 at gmail.com. Holy crap! I was like, frozen.
Wow.
With that being said, listen.
A little oil can here, getting a little rusty.
Yeah,
There
I'm
you
gonna
go.
get to that. You know what I mean? It's like, you love my bedroom in the background.
Biden pardons his son and whole family, but they weren't guilty,
Oh
right?
boy, I
We
gotta
know,
tell you.
Annie. Thank you.
All right, Annie, Jesse, everybody else, M, whoever. Thanks for tuning in to The Way We See It right here on the FFN network. Me and B will catch you all on the flip side.
Why do you believe what you believe? Because at some point in your life, you trusted the information that somebody was giving you. And that someone you trusted told you that a car was a car, a tree was a tree, a bird was a bird, the blue stuff above you is the sky. And that's the way that we began to determine what we believe to be a fact. Most of the things that we believe to be a fact in our lives are told to us through our stories or the news that we hear. So my question would be, if they were deceiving you with the stories they tell you, would you be able to recognize that?
You have just watched an FFN Network production.